LJ, growing up as a young player in Australia, what did Michele Timms mean to you?
Timmsy, especially in the 90s, was an icon of Australian basketball. Everybody knew who she was, and for a woman in sport in those days, that was pretty remarkable. Everybody knew who Michele Timms was. My brother, who doesn't even like basketball, was in love with Michele Timms, so that says a lot. But growing up, we all looked up to her. She was just the pinnacle of what it was to be a female athlete in Australia, and especially those who were wanting to play for Australia. It was all Michele Timms.
With 2 Olympic medals to her name, how much of a legend is she in national team history?
Timmsy, her legend it's huge. What she was able to achieve with the Australian team, like I said, and then obviously her icon status in Australia during the 90s was massive. It brought a profile to women's basketball that we have never had, had never had until that point. And she, she really paved the way for the rest of us to want to go to the WNBA, to go and play in Europe. But yeah, the visibility piece, I think like I said, everybody knew who Michele Timms was in the 90s. So she is, when you talk about women's basketball, there are very few names that really resonate, and Michele Timms is one of those. So it's she's been remarkable. She's meant so much to Australian basketball, and she still does.
As the first Australian male or female player to play pro ball overseas, how much did she forge the way for others to play?
Yeah, I mean, there's always got to be a first, right? And Timmsy was that for Australian women's basketball. Seeing what she did with the Phoenix Mercury over in the WNBA early on, playing over in Europe, really paving the way for the next generation of basketballers. Having someone like her to look up to see the pathway, that visibility piece, it was so important for particularly my generation coming through. We sort of reaped the benefits of Timmsy's work, and that was, I think looking back, that was really, really important to me, especially at the AIS in '97 when the WNBA just began. But what she did for women's basketball was immeasurable, and it's just so proud and happy for her.
Her career in the WNBA, as you touched on, was also trailblazing for an Australian. How did that impact someone like you coming through after her?
Well, I think the following that Timmsy had over in America, and I don't think I really understood it until I went and played over in America in 2001, but the fans loved her. Everywhere she went, Timmsy had support. She had people shouting, people loved her, and whether it was her look, the way that she played, feisty little point guard that just got into it, she was unafraid, but people adored her. And it was because of her, the way she is, her nature. She's an Aussie. She's happy. She's out there just giving it her all, and people love her. So I think being able to see her popularity, and then see the way she was just killing it on the court, it was a really special time. But it made us believe too that we could do the same, and she, very, very important for us.
She was so popular as a player, exuding so much energy and spirit. What is she like as a person?
Timmsy is a great person. She's someone, especially the last few years for me, someone that I've been able to speak to about pretty much anything. She's supportive. She's such a basketball brain. Like, she knows women's basketball and men's basketball, but she's pretty amazing in terms of just her knowledge of the game. So she's a good person. She's a great person, and to have her around and still so influential in basketball in Australia, it's so important. I think that IQ and that knowledge is just something that we can't let go of. We've got to find a way to keep it involved in basketball here, and she will. Like, she's an icon,
And finally, why is Michele Timms deserving of her place in the basketball Hall?
Timmsy is so deserving of the Naismith Hall of Fame, because she's, like I said, she paved the way for all of us to dream and believe that we could be professional athletes. And without Timmsy going over the WNBA, doing what she did, having that following, that energy, having the fans be so passionate about her, and then also becoming an all-star. Like, she's just an awesome player. She paved the way for us. She gave us something to look forward to, and Timmsy deserves to be there more than anyone, and I'm so proud that that she's there, and she should have been there a long time ago, let's face it. But yeah, I'm just so honoured that I get to talk about her and the impact that she's had on me and women's basketball in our country. And yeah, good on you, Timmsy. You are just an absolute champion. And yeah, from one Opal to another, just congratulations. We love you. And yeah, really have to have a champagne on this one together.